Hey, how's it going? Myles here at Tactical Hyve, and welcome to this week's live fire and dry fire session. We are working on the theme of shooting faster, and there's a lot of little things that you can do to shoot faster. We are talking about aiming again this week. Last week we talked about how, depending on your target, if it's an easy target for you, really close, you don't necessarily need to see your sights perfectly. Sometimes it literally could be some kind of reference on your gun. So if this target was really, arm's length away, 2 arm lengths away, 3 arms length away, we know it's an easy target for my skill level. Do I have to have a perfect sight picture? No. I might be able to just see the top of this red dot. Maybe I just see the top of my slide. Right? Not like this, but just a little bit top of my slide. Or maybe I see the back plate, some kind of reference. This week, we are now going to be talking about, okay, we are actually looking at a red dot. We're at a distance where we just can't point shoot with the index that easily or anything like that. So if you are interested, stay tuned. All right, welcome back. Now we're going to talk about a different aiming scheme. There are different names for the different aiming schemes out there. I know like JJ will say predictable, unpredictable, steady, things like that. Then others have like sight confirmation 1, 2, 3. I don't really know which one is which. So I'm just going to explain to you what the aiming scheme is here. So last week we talked about it's an easy target. You just need a reference. Now we are entering into this world where it's a relatively easy target, but we absolutely need to see our front sight, some image. We don't have to necessarily see it crystal clear, or our red dot. Now this all goes back to 2 weeks ago when we talked about target focused shooting. So if you don't understand target focused shooting, go back to that video because now it's not going to make sense. But if you fully understood, appreciated, and practiced the target focused shooting, then today it's going to make a lot more sense and you will shoot faster. The idea of this second level, okay, so the first level is a very easy target. Second level is I believe this is what JJ calls predictable. Yes, I believe this is predictable, where your red dot or your front sight is somewhere in the target, where it is still moving, but you can predict based on your own skill level and the size of the target and the distance of the target that that dot or your front sight is still going to move in the acceptable target zone, right? So with this level, the middle level here, the first level was the easy level last week. This middle level, what you're doing is you are just looking for a streak of that red dot anywhere in the target zone. Okay, it does not have to rest. And if you follow what we did 2 weeks ago and stay target focused, imagine you're just literally honed in on the center mass right here, or the Tactical Hyve logo. And if the dot is moving, the streak is moving anywhere here, break the shot. Okay, a lot of beginners are going to wait for this to stop. Even if it's a split second, that's not needed at this range we're talking about, okay? And these are hard rules to break, especially if you've been brought up in the traditional sense. I have to always have crystal clear front sight, so on and so forth, okay? So we're trying to, got to understand the rules to break the rules. We're trying to break them a little bit now, okay? So once again, stay hard target focused, and your front sight can be blurry. You're just looking, front sight of red dot, it's somewhere there. So during your dry fire session, it's all going to be about vision, and when you pull the trigger, you can't see what I'm seeing, so I'm going to have to try to explain this, and then you have to practice it and be very strict on yourself. So with an unloaded gun, you don't have to fire anything. We are just going to pay attention to the dot and see how it moves on the target. So if you're at home, you have dry fire targets. If you don't, a light switch, a lamp, whatever it is, you're going to be presented out on that target, and what you want to do is you're not going to stay on the target. You're just going to present first to see where the dot is on the target, okay? Then come to high ready, whatever ready position you want to, and the idea is you're going to present to that target without doing any dry fire shots yet. You're just focusing on vision and understand the movement of that dot on that target. Okay, some of you might get lucky depending on how far this target is. Maybe every time you present, it's like literally right there and pretty much steady. That might mean maybe the target's too big, maybe you have to go a little faster. Try to get to the point where it is moving a little bit, but is still going to be within that target so that it would be acceptable to break a shot. Okay, so the first step, you don't have to break any shots. You're just going to present, look at a target, maintain focus, present, and see how the dot moves. If you have a target that's kind of the size of my body, maybe it was a lampshade or something like that, and the dot maintained itself within there. It was moving, but it was in there. You could break the shot, okay? Of course, now if you had a small lampshade, something like that, and now the dot moved out, Okay, that tells you you wouldn't break the shot, right? We're trying to get comfortable with the movement of the dot here. So in the second aiming scheme, so to speak, it is predictable, as JJ calls it, because we can predict that with good mechanics and based on your skill, but we can predict that that dot's not going to move out and it's going to be somewhere where I want it to be, here, center mass. It may not be precise, we're not keyholing here, but you can break the shot, okay? So after you've done that a couple times, you understand kind of the movement, you're getting comfortable with knowing how far the dot is moving within your target. Now I want you to do the same thing, but break the shot now. Train your brain that when you see that streak within that target zone, you don't wait anymore, you just break the shot. So for me, okay, I have a barrel down up range, which is pretty big. I'm far from it though, but if my red dot and streaks are somewhere in there, just break the shot, okay? So that's all you would do here for the second level. You're just going to keep your hard target focus. You present, once it's somewhere there, even though there's movement, I'm exaggerating, but if it's in there, break the shot, okay? The third level to this for dry fire is now you're going to do the same exact thing, but then do 2 targets, and then so on and so forth based on your skill level. So I could transition. So I'm here, from here now I go to another target. We have lots of videos about target transitions already, guys, so I'm not going to repeat that. Just, I think we have like 60 or 70 videos in this series now, okay? So we've covered a lot. So just go back and then watch those videos. And so now when I'm doing this, I go to the next target and the same thing. I'm going to break the shot, the dry fire shot, when I see that streak in the target zone. If you have a striker fire pistol and you have the DryFireMag, I highly recommend you guys use that, because then you can get multiple shots. You can work your trigger control very similar to the actual trigger, and the trigger will automatically reset, so you don't have to keep on doing this every single time. And if you guys don't know what a DryFireMag is, make sure to check them out in the description below, and you can get $10 off using the code TACHYVE. And you can also get our free online course, Mastering Trigger Control, if you buy directly from their site. Now, let's move on to live fire and how we will work this second aiming scheme. All right, so I have a target down range. Doesn't matter what distance it is. You are going to pick a target, though, that is far enough or small enough that it is going to be challenging, where you just can't shoot with a reference from your slide or your dot or anything like that. You do need to see your red dot or your front sight now. But the whole idea is we are still target focused, even with iron sights, okay? We're still at a distance where we don't need that crystal clear front sight, okay? You might be wondering, okay, how does this allow you to shoot faster? It allows you to shoot faster because you are understanding what you can get away with relative to the target's difficulty and the target's size and distance. So here, if you know, based on your abilities, that you don't need a crystal clear front sight, and or that you can't just shoot it using the back plate or some kind of reference on the slide, well, now you automatically know, even before you break the shot or even before you present, you understand or know what type of aiming scheme you're going to have to use. So just like dry fire, we're going to start off here, okay? And for live fire, we're going to take 1 shot. You are going to do this slowly first as you get comfortable. If you are a beginner and when you present, as you present, this dot is moving, even when you go slow, this is particularly for you. So you are going to present, but you're not waiting for this dot to just rest. You are going to present, even though there's slight movement, you're going to break the shot. Then finger off the trigger, go through your checklist that we've covered in this series, then back. Now, the next step is when you do that, you're comfortable, you're able to get shots consistently, then put a little bit more speed. This is going to cause some disruption for those of you who are beginners, and that's what we want. But as long as the streak or the front sight is in the target zone, you break the shot. You don't want to do this. I'm going to exaggerate. Notice I'm going to be far out here, and there was some shaking, and I'm waiting for it to rest, then I break the shot. No, don't do that. I want you to be comfortable with the movement, okay? Once that's done, for those of you who are more experienced, you can add a transition, just like we did with dry fire. So I might start, I'm going to start with target here, okay? I'm going to break the shot as soon as the red dot is in the target zone. And I come here, as soon as it's in the target zone, break the shot. Of course, I'm slowing it down so I can talk to you. Then the next level would be to do this from the holster. You can start with a single target. You're going to draw as soon as that red dot is anywhere in the target zone, and we should know, right? We should know when it's in the target zone because we are focused on the target the entire time. Once that streak comes up, break the shot. So it's a very simple live fire exercise for today. The main thing though is you have to be very strict on yourself. Since you're trying to shoot faster, it's okay to make mistakes. For some of you, for their average shooter, they don't really shoot very fast. Sometimes it might be the ranges limit them. They can't do rapid fire. Sometimes it's a matter of practice. But I want you to get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. You cannot wait for that streak, the red dot or the iron sight to sell. I'm repeating it over and over again because we've been ingrained through traditional firearms training to always have that front sight focus, right? And then people who shoot red dots who don't understand it, they actually focus on the red dot when you should not be doing that. You're just focusing on the target. So if you do this exercise, it will really make you a lot more efficient and you'll be able to land shots faster, again, on those targets that are within a distance where you have to have a good aiming scheme. Next week, we are going to talk about the final aiming scheme where we need to have steady sights. Okay, this is where, based on your skill level, you can't mess around with any movement. You will have to focus on your front sight if you're shooting irons, but we'll cover that more next week. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked the video. As always, let us know what you thought in the comment section below. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe.